everybody, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be speaking on Tory Lanez getting stabbed inside a prison and the man who did it.
On May 12, 2025, just north of Los Angeles, at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, a violent incident occurred. Back in 2021, this prison closed its minimum security section, meaning all 2,600 inmates now fall under Level 3, or Level 4, some of the most dangerous classifications in the California prison system. These levels are known for strict racial divisions, gang activity, and harsh consequences for breaking prison rules. The only more extreme category is maximum security, where inmates are kept in the security housing unit, also called the SHU. Inmates there are confined for 23 hours a day and only leave their cells in cages. At around 7:20 a.m., 32-year-old Daystar Peterson, better known as rapper Tory Lanez, was violently attacked. TMZ initially reported that several sources, including a corrections officer, claimed Tory was attacked on the prison yard. But later, the California Department of Corrections clarified that the assault actually happened inside a housing unit. Prison staff responded quickly, gave first aid, and realized Tory had life-threatening injuries. They called 911 immediately. A video surfaced showing what appeared to be Tory Lanez being flown by helicopter to Kern Medical Center in Bakersfield, about an hour's drive from the prison. Because of the distance and the seriousness of his injuries, the helicopter was the fastest way to get him help. A post from Tory Lanez's Instagram account revealed that he had been stabbed 14 times, 7 times in the back, 4 in the torso, twice in the back of the head, and once on the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was put on a breathing machine. Thankfully, he is now breathing on his own, talking normally, in good spirits, and very grateful to be alive. He also thanked everyone for their prayers and support. Based on his injuries, it looks like Tory was attacked from behind. At first, no one knew who was responsible, leading to a lot of speculation. In California prisons, when someone is stabbed, and it doesn't start a race riot, it's usually because the attacker is from the same race. But in this case, that may not be true. Compton rapper Spiderlock posted a conversation with an inmate currently at Tehachapi. The inmate said Tory was in a unit mostly filled with Mexican inmates when he was stabbed by one of them. Confirmed. Tory had to be airlifted and that the prison went into lockdown. He also said that once the lockdown is lifted, black inmates are expected to retaliate.
What's Gucci?
What's cracking?
What it do, Five?
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mexican out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so you know how that's gonna respond. When we come off this shit, we're gonna respond the right way to that.
They laid the yard down?
No, it happened in the building.
What was it over? It was over some, what he had did he have a debt, a gambling debt or something?
Nah, nothing like that. Shit, we don't even really know. We don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's finna be up.
Yeah, it's for sure with some foul play.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him? Wasn't nobody right there with him when he went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of necks. He on a whole tier full of necks.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press some play on, we press play.
I'm already knowing. God damn.
Tehachapi is known for housing SNY inmates, which stands for Special Needs Yard. These yards are made for inmates who can't safely be in the general prison population. People like gang dropouts, snitches, sex offenders, or anyone whose life might be in danger if placed with regular inmates. However, California has recently introduced 50-50 yards, a mix of general population and SNY inmates. The goal is to blend the two groups, but this goes against deep prison gang politics, especially among Mexican and white gangs. In those circles, inmates are often expected to attack rivals or SNY inmates. Doing so gets them removed from the yard and eventually placed back into full general population, where they're considered to be among so-called honorable convicts. Although general population is extremely dangerous, it's a form of controlled chaos. SNY yards, on the other hand, can be just as deadly, if not worse, because gang rules that usually keep order are gone, and violence can erupt at any time. It's not confirmed whether Tory Lanez was officially labeled as SNY. That label carries a lot of stigma in prison. But it's likely he was placed in a 50-50 yard, and his personal politics didn't require him to attack anyone in order to stay in good standing. Tory's attacker has been identified as 42-year-old Santino Casio, a man with a violent and disturbing past. On June 8, 2022, a then 20-year-old Santino, who went by the name Sonny, was heard arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Minutes later, she was shot in the face with a shotgun. After the shooting, Santino went on the run for 2 weeks before being captured. In court, his own family testified against him, saying they heard the argument just before the gunshot. A coroner also testified that the shotgun barrel was likely just 4 inches away from the girl's face when it fired. During the trial, a police interview from the day of Santino's arrest was played. In that recording, he admitted to having a relationship with the 13-year-old girl who had run away from home. At the time, Santino was already on parole from the California Youth Authority. Santino Casio was originally sent to prison for burglary in 2004. Later, he was sentenced to life in prison for murdering 13-year-old Evelyn Candace and for 2 separate attempted murders from prison stabbings. While behind bars, he continued his violent behavior, getting 6 more years for stabbing another inmate and 2 more years in 2018 for having a knife in prison. Santino was considered extremely dangerous, but his conviction for killing a 13-year-old girl he was in a relationship with made it clear he was placed in SNY housing. Someone with that kind of crime could never safely live in general population. He would be stabbed or killed immediately. Why he chose to attack Tory Lanez is still unknown. Some people wonder if Tory was targeted because of his own case, where he was convicted of shooting his former friend, Megan Thee Stallion. The fact that his victim was a woman led many to believe that might have made him a target. But even then, Santino's crimes were far worse, which makes his motive unclear. Tory Lanez is expected to survive the attack, and it's likely Santino will be sent to the SHU Security Housing Unit and face even more prison time. But when someone is already serving a life sentence, more time doesn't really change anything. Superstar rapper who was once on top of the world is now surrounded by killers with nothing to lose, all because of one reckless decision that completely changed his life. Tory is lucky to be alive, and hopefully he stays lucky enough to make it through the rest of his 10-year sentence.
When Tory was sentenced to prison, everybody assumed one of 2 things. One is his money and celebrity status is going to keep him safe. And 2, because he has a female victim, he could be targeted. I don't know if either one played a role in this, but the fact that Tory was damn near killed, right? Because prisons don't call in a helicopter for nothing. They all have medical units within the prison. Like, if it's superficial, they'll fix you. The fact that he had to be airlifted, his lungs collapsed, Tory almost got killed. This was a serious stabbing. Anytime a helicopter lands, it's serious. The fact that he survived this, and the fact that he was hit up in the first place, shows you how real prison is. Your celebrity status is not gonna protect you. If you're accessible, it can happen to you. The fact that Tory was on an SNY yacht, from my understanding, doesn't mean he necessarily went PC for protective custody. From my understanding, the black race in California State Prison doesn't have to remove themselves from SNY yards because their politics don't do that. The whites and the Mexicans will not stay on a 50-50 yard. It's required that they remove themselves. The reason they do that is so they don't run into pieces of shit like Santino Casio, a man that murdered a 13-year-old girl that he was dating, right? General population, they don't want him there. So if he goes there, they remove him. But if they get placed into a dorm or a unit where they're surrounded by weird fucks like that guy, they gotta pop on somebody to remove themselves. The reality is, if Tory was never at that spot around that guy, this would have never happened. And that's the thing about general population. Even though it's so strict, it's controlled chaos. That's why when Spider Loc was questioning his boy inside of the prison, he was asking, was it a gambling debt or something? Did Tory do something? What would cause someone of another race to attack him? Because under controlled politics, that doesn't happen like that. But in this situation, with SNY inmates, there's no rules and everything is off limits, resulting in Tory Lanez damn near being killed. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments section. Again, Tory is like 5'1", and from what I understand, he's been moving around like a regular inmate. celebrity status doesn't hold that much weight to people that don't really give a fuck. You know, you got a lot of people in there that's never coming home. They don't care about the celebrity shit because they don't ever get the chance to experience it. This is prison. This is the reality of prison. And this could be your reality if you make a decision that lands you there. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me.